Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich is here. All right, Rob, what do you think when a guy says, I'll have a president in a coma over Donald Trump?
I say that guy hates the American people and hates his constituents and hates even Democratic voters. I mean, shouldn't we all wish good things for our country? And isn't it right to hope that a president, even the one from the other party, can succeed to do good things for his country and good things for people? But that statement sums up what today's Democratic Party is all about. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about America. They just all they care about is winning elections and telling lies. And, you know, the playwright Tennessee Williams said that the only thing that's worse than a liar is a liar that's also a hypocrite. And these Democrats are hypocrites, and they are liars on a monumental scale. And if they have any sense of patriotism or sense of, I should say, integrity, what they ought to try to do now is atone for their sins, admit those lies, and try to do better moving forward.
Well, they can't, because it's opened up a whole can of worms. If you're admitting to lying and covering up the last 4 years, where did it stop? You just lied about Biden. You just covered up Biden. You didn't cover up and lie about anything else. I mean, it looks like everything was a lie or a cover up. Doesn't that justify us just doubting everything they say?
No, I don't think you can remotely give any credibility to pretty much any Democrat who talks about anything these days based upon their history of lying. Even the act of forcing Biden off the ticket was an admission by the act itself that he wasn't capable, he was not of sound mind to be the president of the United States. What they should have done then, for the good of the country, frankly, was invoke the 25th Amendment and have Kamala Harris president. On the other hand, maybe that wasn't for the good of the country. Maybe we're better off with a brain-dead Biden as president than her. But the fact is, they just keep lying and lying and lying, and they keep telling us things that we know are simply not true. And when they told us Biden was fit, we could see with our own eyes that they were lying and that he wasn't.
Well, you just made a great point. They'd rather have a comatose Biden than Kamala Harris.
Right. Right. And, you know, these lies about President Trump, it's all they've got. I mean, frankly, no one has been more lied about than President Trump by these Democrats over the last generation, since 2016, 2015, when Trump came down that elevator. They're not talking about anything that matters to the American people except going after Trump time and time again with all these big lies, whether it's Russian collusion, Stormy Daniels, all these other things that have already been litigated, and all those fake crimes that they brought against him. No, I think the Democratic Party is in serious trouble because nobody who has any common sense could believe anything they say. And the king of the Democratic liars is Adam Schiff. If there was a Hall of Fame for liars, like there is, let's say, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Adam Schiff would be Elvis.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely first ballot, no question. Well, you mentioned atonement. What does the atonement process look like for Democrats besides saying we screwed up?
I wouldn't say they have to necessarily put a hoodie on, but they ought to borrow a page from John Fetterman and try to find common ground in ways where they can work for their constituency back home and find ways where they can work with the president from the other party and stop just spending all their time, you know, MF and Donald Trump. Put the people first for a change. Forget about the politics. Get things done for your constituents. The politics will take care of itself.
Do you think they can reach across the aisle? I mean, Gretchen Whitmer was in the White House the other day and she went like this. The photographer aimed at her.
You know what I've learned about politicians, Jesse, in my experience, is most of them are spineless. They have no backbone. You can carve out of a backbone, you know, out of a chocolate eclair. Teddy Roosevelt said more backbone than most politicians have. There are some that have it. But most of these Democrats are pretty much without backbone. They're cowards, and they're afraid to upset that energized lunatic fringe of the party. And so they are fearful that anything they say that looks like they are cozying up to Trump could be a problem. At some point, they ought to do what they tell their voters that they're going to do, and they ought to stand up for something and do what's right for the people, because we elect them to make judgments for us. And when you can work with the president for the good of your constituents, that's your job. And when you don't do it because you're afraid of some lunatics in your party, then you ought to not be in that job and you ought to go do something else because you're a coward.
All right, you just don't want them dressing like Fetterman, please. Tell me you're not advocating no dress code.
No,
because I don't want to see Debbie Dingell in gym shorts.
You know what? If they poll that and do focus groups and somehow someone says that works, she'll be doing that.
All right. You're not a sloth or a tortoise, are you?
No, I consider myself, and I say this with all sincerity, king of the jungle, a lion. You know, the hair, heart, wouldn't give in to those corrupt prosecutors. Well, I'm a lion.
Yeah, you do. You have the hair of a lion. Good to see you. Thanks so
Thank you.
much. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.